Position sizing, one of the most underrated wealth skills. I'm Chris. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get to it, right? Most people think the key to building wealth in the market is picking the right stock, right? It's not, at least not in my opinion, right? The most underrated wealth skill is position sizing. How much you invest matters just as much as what you invest in. Excuse me. What is position sizing? Position sizing simply means deciding how much of your total capital you're willing to allocate to one idea. So let's say whatever your portfolio is right now, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, whatever it may be. Your position size, you want to pick in, a certain percentage of your overall position size is what you want to dedicate to a position. Of course, you're always building your overall portfolio, so you're having to always adjust some of your position sizing, such as your base of your the base of your overall portfolio. You want it to be in solid ETFs. My recommendation would be like the total stock market, which would be VTI or VOO, right? Me, I have both. I watch certain of my mentors out there. They say, you don't need both. Pick one or the other. Tomatoes. His, her. Everyone is their own CEO of their portfolio. So the base of my portfolio is in basically the S&P, which is VOO, the entire stock market, right? And then VTI, right? I just love them both. I'm learning to love VTI more than I love anything in the stock market. And I don't really love the stock market. I just highly value the stock market, right? But VTI and VOO, I really appreciate them. Anyway, I'll probably tap in on that a little while later. So, again, position sizing means deciding how much of your total capital you're willing to allocate to one idea. Is this a good stock? That's not me. That's not always your main objective, right? But how much of my portfolio deserves to be exposed to this good stock is a great question, always. That's maturity, whether or not you're so hung-ho on the stock or so hung-ho on deciding how much exposure you want to a certain stock or a certain ETF, right? But ETF is a bucket of stocks all in one, right? So why position size protects you? If you put 50% of your portfolio into one idea and it drops 30%, your entire portfolio takes a hit, right? If you haven't experienced that, it don't mean much to you right now. But once you experience that, oh my goodness. But if that same idea represents 5 to 10%, the damage is contained. I've experienced both sides, right? You're not eliminating risk, you're controlling exposure. Let me say that again for somebody who didn't hear it. You're not eliminating risk, you're controlling exposure. You can survive being wrong if you size correctly. You can survive being wrong if you size correctly. All right. The oversized emotional stability. Oversized positions create emotional stability. Oversized positions create emotional instability. I think we all could have, I said it in my head. I said, wait, that don't sound quite right. You're right. I left out in. Oversized positions create emotional instability because you're not properly aligned, right? Aligned is our word for the year. When a position is too large, every price movement feels dramatic. When a position is too large, every price movement feels dramatic. I mean, you could have something and it moves 10 cents. If your position is oversized because you're trying to strike it rich off of one position, right? Moves 10%, but you have such a high volume, such a high size, that 10% down made that one position move fluctuate $2,000. Man, that's impossible. Okay, you ain't been in the game long enough. Stick around. It'll make more sense the longer you are in the game. Anyway, when a position is too large, every price movement feels dramatic. That leads to panic selling or reckless doubling down. I have experienced panic selling. I've experienced reckless doubling down. Hopefully you can learn from my experience. Or, as some people say, some of my kids tell me, Dad, we got to learn this for ourselves. Let us go through this. So if you want to bump your head, go ahead. Okay, proper position sizing protects your mind as much as your money. Proper position sizes protects your mind as much as your money, your pocket, your bottom line. All right. So here's my philosophy, so to speak. Not giving any formulas, but I don't bet everything, right? Did once upon a time, I learned. Well, I never bet everything. I just bet a little bit recklessly, right? I scale in, which means more or less DCA, and I already have a certain percentage how much I'm willing to put at risk in this position, right? Excuse me. I leave room to adjust what I want to adjust up or down. I respect uncertainty. Don't know everything, right? I never assume I can't be wrong, right? Okay. Conviction does not eliminate uncertainty. Just because you've done all your research and it seemed like this should do this or this should do that, the market is going to do what the market is going to do. And you know I can't control that. That's where the uncertainty lies. So, a compounding secret. Wealth is built by staying in the game long enough for compounding to work. That's why we're always saying time in the market beats trying to time the market for the bottom, right? Doesn't matter what the bottom is. What matters is that you get in the game and you stay consistent over time and you don't get punked out of the game because you see your position going down. If it's a great company, if it's a great stock, if it's a great position, if it's a great ETF, the market moves up and down. It goes through timing and seasons and what have you. I got in the game in 2020, right? And I've been in it since then, and I don't plan to ever be out of it. But my point is, I got in 2020. 2020 ended up being a great year. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I was trying to learn the game. And then, so 2020 was a great year. And I didn't find out till like March of 2021 that 2020 was a great year. I just thought, hey, it was doing what it was supposed to do, and I was making money. 2021, I made money for the first 11 months straight. Then that last day of November 2021, that last day of November, the 31st. Oh my! I had positions, multiple positions that changed overnight. They were dropping, right? Well, I was still in profit because I was in crazy profit, but they started declining, right? And that's when the market started crashing. Some folks say the market started crashing January of 2022. Well, I seen the downturn as I was watching the market on a regular basis. I seen the downturn from the 31st November till the rest of that year and the entire year. Okay, where am I going with this? Compounding. I'm gonna get back to it, but I wanted to point that out. My length of time, how long I've been in the game, because time in the market beats trying to time the market. Okay, so wealth is built by staying in the game long enough for compounding to work. Wealth is built by staying in the game long enough for compounding to work on your behalf. Massive losses, delays, compounding, right? Proper sizing protects your timeline, okay? Position sizing is humility in action. It says I may be right, but I could also be wrong, and I prepare for both. Okay, so as I sum this up, what I was saying, I've been in since 2020. I rode the highs of 2020. I rode the highs of 2021. And then I saw the market crash over the next year and a half, what have you, maybe 2 years. But my point is, I said earlier, I'm learning to really really care for my VTI and my VOO, right? Your ETFs should make up at least 50% of your overall portfolio. Not quite there yet, but I'm just about there, right? So with the grandstanding that I had in 2020, 2021, I had watched Amazon, Google, and Shopify perform extremely well all of those 2 years, right? And then all three announced they were going to be doing a upcoming split. Amazon was doing a 20 for 1 split. Google was doing a 20 for 1 split. Shopify was doing a 10 for 1 split, right? And they announced this toward the last quarter of 2021, I believe. And I was, at the time, I was already to start putting my grandstand that I did the first 2 years into those great companies that I had seen doing such well when I was foaming at the bottom, when I could not afford them. Trying to wind it up. So, so right now, I'm very happy with my Amazon position that I've had 4 years, Google that I've had 4 years, Shopify that I've had 4 years, right? But I'm also extremely happy with, I apologize for that. I'm also extremely happy with my Google and I said that I'm extremely happy with my Shopify and my VOO and my VTI. Those ETFs, they grow a percentage year over year over year, right? Same thing with Amazon, Google, Shopify, but those Amazon, Google, Shopify were growth stocks for me, right? And so I oversized them so I could periodically take profit and put it wherever I wanted, new opportunities, take some of those big profits of that growth and put it into my long-term holds of VTI, VOO, and what have you. But when you look at your VOO and your VTI, you see that stair-stepping of growth over the years. You start seeing that compounded effect, right? When I can look at how long I've held my Amazon and my Google and my Shopify, and I can see the compounding growth. If I can remember the size that I had of Amazon, Google, and Shopify after they did this split and after I continued to DCA for a little while. The small amount of Amazon that I have from what I had and the amazing profit that it is still sitting at, it has nothing to do with the profit I took and not taken out over the years. Same with Google and Shopify. I have small amounts of these things, and they're still crazy growth. Am I saying you should do the same thing? Yes, with VOO and VTI. Amazon, Shopify, Google, you would have to hold it for a long time to see the amount of profit I've had. I just took advantage of opportunities because of how I was learning the game and timing. It all worked out in my favor. Anyway, hopefully I've said something to help you out. Hopefully I've said something to encourage you. Hopefully I've helped you get a better understanding of position sizing and growing your wealth. If I have, please hit that like, please hit that subscribe, and share it with someone who could use it. You guys take care and be blessed continually, my friend.